everyone, welcome back to my channel and to a brand new video. My name is Ravi and I'm an artist. I thought I'd come on camera while I still had makeup on. It's my birthday today and I've had a little bit to drink, so I'm a little bit tipsy, but I thought I would come on camera just to do this little bit of an introduction, especially while I still had makeup on and I look somewhat presentable. This is a bit of a different video than what I've done before, but I have a lot of thoughts on this current situation, and I say situation because it's literally a mess. This whole Shane, Jeffree and Tati situation is a big mess. Instead of making some other kind of art, I've decided to paint on my Shane x Jeffree mini conspiracy palette. I originally bought this because I wanted to support Shane more than Jeffree. I thought, why not support him by purchasing his palette? I bought this mini one and the larger palette too, and to be honest, I barely even use the bigger one. This smaller palette is okay. I mainly use it as a mirror on my desk just in case I forget like an eyelash or something in my eye, and to be honest, I only use two particular colours. I think it's Diet Root Beer and I use that kind of reddish shade. Those are the two colours that I basically use from this palette. The quality of the eyeshadows are great, like there's no denying that, but with the recent situation and everything that's been brought to light, I kind of don't want to be reminded that I'm using a palette that was created by them. I've seen people in the past destroy palettes, but I paid for this with my hard-earned money and I want to get my use out of it, and then I'm going to chuck it after that. I'm not going to purchase anything from them again, so for this particular palette I'm going to paint over it. So for this I'm going to clean it first with a wipe and then sand over it a little because it'll have like a protective layer to protect the design and the artwork that's already on there. Sanding it down will add a bit of texture for the paint to stick to, and then once I've sanded it down a little bit, I'm going to apply a coat of gesso, which is essentially a primer. It just preps the surface for painting. But first, let's talk about this huge situation and what went down. So I've been familiar with Shane and Jeffree for quite a few years now. I was a MySpace kid, so I first came across Jeffree Star when I was about 14, and right now, today, I've just turned 28. Although I didn't really know the extent of the things that he'd done, I was just more familiar with his music. And then I started watching Shane Dawson in around 2013. Before that, I did sort of watch some of his content, but music parodies weren't really my thing. But in the more recent years, with his conspiracy theory videos that are really well edited and whatnot, I admit I really like Shane Dawson's content, and I'm sure a lot of other people did because he was getting millions of views on his like conspiracy videos and even his docu-series videos. Like a lot of people really enjoyed them, including me. But as for Jeffree Star, I completely turned off him after his beef that he had with Kat Von D. I know she's a problematic person, but hear me out. I really liked her tattoo work, and she was a really big art inspiration to me during my teenage years. If I had to pick out of the two, I know they're not great people, but I'd rather pick her than Jeffree, if you know what I mean. And that's if I have to pick out of those two. Anyway, I didn't really vibe with Jeffree's content. With everything that's come out these past couple of years about Jeffree, his failed makeup company, the Jackie Aina situation, and his past, like I can understand people having troubled past and going from mistakes that they've made when they were younger, but if you're still doing the same things, like you're being problematic, you're being racist, putting yourself in drama despite saying a year prior that you're going to grow from it, that's when it's a much bigger issue. And at this point, I feel like, why are we still expecting Jeffree, this he's 36 or something? However old he is, why are people still expecting him to change? Like the saying goes, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And at this moment, I feel like there's no point trying to hold him accountable for his actions because he's only going to keep doing it and people will still keep talking about him. Bad publicity is still publicity, and that is basically what he thrives off of. For Shane Dawson, I genuinely thought that he was the kind of person that he's been recently portraying in his videos, like this super caring and thoughtful person who was supportive of other YouTubers and was concerned over why Chuck E. Cheese pizzas looked the way that they did. Seriously, what was that segment? But with his first apology tweet and when he said he thought James Charles needed humbling, like that's not for you to decide. That's not for anyone to decide. If James Charles needed to be humbled, he would have naturally landed himself in hot water and karma would have handled that humbling. But it's quite funny to see how the tables have turned, and look who's being humbled now. And then let's talk about Tati. Tati, I have so much to say. Putting last year's video and this year's video together, there's just so many inconsistencies. I think the reason why a lot of people believed her original video and turned against James Charles was because she included her own personal experiences with James Charles, like what he said, and I remember her mentioning an incident that had happened around her family, and when I watched that original video it was compelling because Tati isn't really one for drama, and you know, before that she hasn't been in any drama. She was quite a credible person. I watched her video back again, and this time I tried to watch it from an outsider's perspective as someone who isn't really clued up on beauty YouTubers and influencers, and it came across as someone who was naturally just upset with their really close friend, but instead of actually confronting them in private, which is how you would actually talk to your friend if you were concerned about them, she just chose to put them in blast in front of the whole world. And I get that some YouTubers do this, but for Tati, a YouTuber that hasn't been in drama and is the eldest of this group essentially, why would she all of a sudden do this? Like, what is the motive? And in her recent video addressing all of this, she does backpedal. She backpedals a lot. So she says that she wanted James Charles to put his phone down, but if they were close friends like she said, why didn't she confront him herself and not put him on blast? And I keep thinking, what is the motive behind all of this? What is the real motive? Because to me, it doesn't seem like the motive was exposing James Charles for this so-called alleged predatory nature. That seems secondary to me. Like, that was just a piece of the puzzle that she wanted to just put out there and expect the public to, you know, just take that information and do what they wanted with it. You know, I could be wrong about this, but to me, the main motive behind all of this was power and money. It wasn't about Shane and Jeffree wanting to humble James Charles literally, but damaging his career because they want to be on top and they want to have that power. As for Tati, her entire original video was centered around her vitamins, her gummies or whatever they were, and her business. Because since James said that Tati was in on the whole I'm a celebrity joke and he had receipts for it as well, it shows that that particular joke and how he chose to engage in relations with other guys, she was quite aware of it, and she was quite aware of the kind of person that he is, and that in particular wasn't a catalyst for that video. The thing that made her switch and what made her feel threatened was James Charles promoting a brand that was her competitor. And like I said, this is all my opinion. You know, you can agree with me, you can disagree with me, but this is just how I've seen these particular videos and how I've come to sort of understand this entire situation. And to be honest, I don't believe that she made the video because she cared about James Charles. If she genuinely cared, she would have contacted him directly. From a PR standpoint, a video with allegations about another creator was going to be massive. It was going to be huge. And mentioning her vitamins was going to bring in a lot of sales. And that is a really shitty way of looking at all of this, but that is kind of how I see this all. If I were James Charles, I would be really, really wary of Tati and the people that I surround myself with. If someone I considered a friend and they couldn't reach out to me despite being really concerned, but instead they made a public video about me and essentially made the internet turn on me, I would never forgive or forget that. Well, I don't know, they say you should forgive and forget, but if someone did that to me, I probably wouldn't talk to them again. I don't care if they were fed a bunch of lies or they were manipulated, because a real and true friend would come at you directly. This video is getting a little bit long, but the last thing I want to mention here is how people are going on about her recent video and talking about her age. I do agree that people of different ages can be manipulated. You see it a lot with toxic relationships. You see it a lot in older people, especially if they're quite trusting as well. But as someone in their 40s with more life experience, you'd think they'd know how to handle a friendship better. So to me, that's really telling about the kind of person that Tati is. She'll believe Jeffree and Shane, but didn't she also say that she met Shane once? So she can be manipulated by these two people that she's known for less than the amount of time that she's known James. We've all heard of this situation, this type of example. Why would you believe someone you've known for a few days over someone you'd consider your best friend? You know, someone someone you've known longer. That's all I've really got to say about this situation. I don't know if there's anything more. If there is anything that I've left out, I might make another video because I have the bigger conspiracy palette, and I also have a highlight that I actually don't really like of Jeffree's that I might end up painting over as well. I did watch snippets of Jeffree's recent video on his hideous gold couch. I watched a little bit of it and I just couldn't watch the whole thing because that gold couch, it was just hideous. That bathrobe that he was wearing, it needs to be in like a warm toned pink. Make it cerise, make it magenta, I don't care, just make it one of those colours, because like it made that gold couch just look so cold, and it just made it look really washed out. And trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I've got gold and olive skin, and if I wear certain colours I look really washed out, so I highly doubt he's watching this video, but if you are, just please wear a different coloured robe next time when you make your try to take accountability sort of video. Yeah, anyway, this has turned into a super long video. If you agree with me about any of this, that's great. If you don't agree with me, that's also great, since this is my opinion. Anyway, thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe for more art videos, vlogs, time lapses, that sort of stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye! Welcome back to my channel and to a brand new... Really?